Welcome back to the channel, everybody. My name is NutRaisin. Let's not play PLO. Let's actually do some PLO study. Hang on. While I finish getting set up here. All right, so I really hope I did this one. I set this one up correctly. Let me double check. So the spot is, yeah, I should probably update that as well. Copy this out. Go show that. There you go. So the study spot is a post-flop situation where we are on the button, the cutoff opens, we 3-bet him. And let me just double check that I have the correct range in here. I think I do, but we might as well make sure. So these I already got. Just want to make sure that the initial range is correct. That was 3-bet. Yeah, never mind, it is correct. So from the button, we 3-bet the cutoff open 20.8% of the time. Sounds about right. And we're seeing a flop of King 8-7 rainbow. Right? Spades, diamonds, clubs. Yep. And this board. Let's see. Maybe we want to use some buckets today. Yeah, let's go without buckets for the beginning. So just need to do the poll. Get that started. Just setting up the poll so it's nice and meaningful. So we are the button. 3-bet, cutoff open. King 8-7. There we go. So I just want to see if that works. All right, got the poll up down there. Everything is as it should be. Then welcome back to the study session. Let's get started. And just go with random hands for the beginning. All right, so we're seeing we 3-bet the ace, queen, queen, 4. You know what? I might as well, since I'm not 100% certain that I set up the preflop spot correctly, I might as well check up on some of these 3-bets. This one seems fine. Truth be told, 3-betting the button here, folded against the 4-bet preflop. Yeah, we're less interested in seeing a flop, so since we're not suited to the ace, so we might as well 3-bet this pre. But let me double check to see if that is indeed correct. Until I, gain some more confidence how to use the bucket tool. So bring over the matrix in a moment. It is a button versus cutoff. That's an interesting one where so I hope I didn't set it up wrong here. But on this spot, the ace 8, 7, 6, 5 all get 3-bet. So far, so good. Oh no, I was looking at the wrong row. Okay, now it's perfect. It's perfect. These would be suited to the ace. We're not suited to the ace, so we are more interested in 3-betting here. Trying to take it down right now, realizing some fold equity, all that stuff. So far, so good. The 3-bet seems sound. It gets checked to us on the King 8-7 board. We hold ace, queen, queen, 4. See this being a check or a 50% pot sometimes. So we're gonna see a lot of mixed strategy today, just, FYI. So I'm gonna go with the check here. Just rearrange some windows. There we go. Right. Let's finish up that poll. And it's a check 100% of the time. So far, so good. Next up, ace, king, 10, 3. We flop a top pair. We flop a backdoor flush draw. The 10 is kind of nice to have, blocking straight draws. So I'd say it's a bet. And we probably don't want to pot it. Don't want to pot commit ourselves. It's a check. Interesting. All right, we'll get back to that one. It's king 10, 3. All right, let's move this down here for a second. Now we have to move this out of the way, okay. So ace, king, 10, 3. Double suited. Is there anything we bet? So this one was a check. We check 40%, 36% for ace, king, 10. Not sure why this doesn't add up to 100. Legends Killer, welcome back. No, well, it does show you the EV if the solver would do, like if the solver would also bet like 20% of the time, it'll show you the EV for that. Now if that changes anything. No. So yes, that's correct. We can't right now. I'm not entirely sure if this should be adding up to 100%. Confused God, man. I hope I set the spot up correctly. Let me double check something before we go on. So it's cutoff versus button. So the initial range would be our 3-bet on the button, right? So let's make doubly sure and download this again. Import from the Mastermind database, fold, MP folds, cutoff opens. And now this would be the decision tree we need to download, right? Cutoff button, yeah, that looks good. And raise part. See if that number see, I had the wrong ranges in here. And now that works. Now it's adding up to 100% here. Oh, phew. All right. So disregard the first results. Good thing that I double checked. Let's try this again. Actually, you know what? Before we do, let's take a look at these hands, at the ace, king 10, 5. Double suited. Now the picture is a little bit different here. We indeed are betting pot 65% of the time. And checking, let's see what's reserved for the checking here. Don't have hearts on the board, so no backdoor flush draw. We do have diamonds. Yeah, so here we have backdoor diamonds. Clubs, it's mostly those with 2 backdoor flushes that get bet. Yeah, at least with 100% frequency. All right, that looks a little bit better. Cool. Good thing I double checked. All right, new set of hands. The ace jack 8-7. Same, nothing else changed except that we now are working with the correct initial range, I hope. So we flop 2 pair and the jack in position. It's an interesting one. I think we don't want to check here. We do. All right. Move this out of the way. So it's the ace jack 8. Ace jack 8-7. Which ones do we bet? I would assume ones that have at least 1 backdoor flush draw. Yeah, ideally 2. Yeah, the ones we bet have at least one backdoor flush draw, it looks like. And those we bet part and get it in if you get raised, I would assume. All right. Next up, ace king 9. Let me open the poll for that one. Ace king 9. So we having the 9 is awesome. Having the king is sweet. I think we are just gonna pot it here. Probably, right? So personally, I'm gonna go with potting it. Rossitan, welcome back. Going for 50%. Yeah, 50% has some appeal too. Wouldn't be surprised if it's mixed again. Good to see you. Good to see you back, mate. Must say, you're taking this study streams pretty seriously. You're here always. Let's go with the pot. Gets checked. Why does it get checked? I mean, we're not that strong, are we? Awesome. Yeah, I do too. I dig it quite a bit. So just look for this exact hand just to make sure. So it's clubs, spades, clubs, diamonds. Okay, so it does show the correct result. That one gets checked a lot. Let's go back. Ace, king, 9. So betting without too much. Is there a pattern the solver likes to check medium strong with backdoor and flush? I think so. It's what I picked up in the mastermind, that a bunch of the medium strong hands go into your checking range to protect that range. Because otherwise you're very polarized. I think you either check really weak or really strong hands. Although in position you probably check fewer of the really strong hands. I tell a lie, sometimes you do. You just want your opponent to catch up a little bit. So, but let's check this out. Honestly, I can't. Let's see, what are the patterns here? We're betting 50% a lot with hearts, which are not on the board. Specifically 2 hearts. For the most part. And we're betting pot with 1 flush draw. At the very least. And which ones are we checking? Here we have a flush draw as well. So what I do pick up on is that we check a lot with 1 heart and bet a lot with 2 hearts. Why do you suppose that is? Yeah, I think so too, Legends. Do you guys have any idea, like, what would your thought process be to... Because that is something that seems pretty clear, right? We check with 1 heart and we bet either half pot or pot with 2 hearts in here. Always having or mostly having another, having 1 backdoor flush draw. Maybe that's a wrong question to ask, but I thought it was interesting. I can't come up with anything here. No idea. Yeah, me neither. Maybe it's not an appropriate question. Let's just move on for now and take it at face value. Two pair and nice trade blockers. Oh, need to start the poll actually. There you go. Both backdoor flush draws as well. Let's say we go just solver heuristics. Yeah, what I like to call solver voodoo. That might just be it. go with pot here. With 2 backdoor flush draws, maybe 2. Yeah, I think I'm gonna go with 2 as well. We are blocking the ranges that can raise us quite a bit, except for, you know, blocking top set. But yeah, I'm gonna go with 2 as well. And it's a mixed strategy. EV-wise, betting 50% is slightly ahead. I mean, it's not like we absolutely hate getting raised here. All right, so both options are viable. Cool. Sort of similar spot. Sort of similar spot, I guess. Our hand is a good deal weaker, having only the bottom pair. Oh, never mind. We have top and bottom here. I didn't see that king for a moment. God, I can't even read boards when trading. So 7. I'd probably pot this one without blocking the higher straight draw. And bet 50% with a 9 or a 10 in my hand. Check this out in a moment as well, the follow-up question. All right, let's pot it. Mixed again, but more potting. Yeah, we're gonna have a lot of mixed stuff. No. Checks that, huh? Okay, 7, 6, 4. Oh, and let's also check the matrix to see if we did this one correctly. Maybe I have a mistake. Check a weak showdown like this. Yeah. I don't quite get it either, truth be told. Let me see if that is indeed a 3-bet pre. Just to make doubly sure that I've set everything up correctly. Sometimes I still have my doubts. So the matrix would actually just call this pre and raise the 6-5. Let's choose. Let's see what the 6-5 would do here. To have an open ender. On top of the 2 pair. Yeah, that's betting half, sometimes potting it. Oh, weak straight draw. Yeah, oh yeah, yeah. Yeah, I don't know, man. I guess there's still a lot of James PKR. Welcome back to the channel. How did your stream go last night, man? James PKR streaming tournaments on his channel a lot. So do check him out. Good to see you, mate. So here we're checking always, right? Yeah. Legends Killer might be. Didn't finish until about 1 a.m. Wow. A 6 turn, yeah. Yeah, it's probably because it's still a pretty dynamic board. Like, there are a lot of turns that change the board quite a bit. Any 9, 8, 10, 9, 10, Jack even. So checking behind with a still medium strong hand. Oh, my pleasure. My pleasure about the raid, James. Looked like you had a good thing going and a good time on your channel. Final table in the Big 5 finished 7th. There you go. Nice, congratulations. Yeah, so I'm still thinking that might be the reason that there are a lot of turns that devalue our hand quite a bit. Like even this 6 is not all that great. So there are a bunch of cards in the deck that change this board for the worse for us. Right, it is a 3-bet pot. That's a good point. All right, I'm gonna take a screenshot of that, ask that in a mastermind. Actually, I could ask this in the mastermind right now and see maybe if we get an answer during runtime. What do you guys think? Should I take the minute and do that, or should I just move on for now? Got to keep quiet now. Hey, you and me both. I'm here to learn something as well. Yeah, and the Sing Race part, I understand. That's... I want to know this now. Yeah. Okay, let's go. Let's do this then. Nobody's understanding this. This is important. Yeah, I think it's important too. I'm gonna set it up into the... I'm gonna send it into what? And checkup category. Just putting this in here now. So give me a moment. Give me a minute while I put this into the mastermind. See if there's maybe somebody who can answer this for us. So that's spades, diamonds, and clubs. And we are holding king 764. Clubs, spades. All right, actually gonna post it into Bucket Tool because there we've been getting a lot of answers quickly. So I set it up, I put it in there, and I'll keep it open on the side and see if we get a reply. Wait, where's my... Hang on. Weird happened. Oh, Bucket... What? Oh, there you go. Just gonna post a screenshot there as well. Oh, I can't, huh? Okay. Fair enough. Moving on then for now. Okay. Finish that poll, go to the next hand. Aces with a backdoor spades. And a jack blocking straight draws just a tiny bit. Let me catch up with the chat. Paper was like, dude, save you money. Yeah, we don't want to get raised, and yeah, those turns certainly would be an ugly spot for us. Would be kind of okay to get it in then. Yeah, I guess. Especially if you pick up a flush draw, then we're probably not going anywhere at this point. This has to be a check then. With one spade, let's see, we're up against the cutoff, we 3-bet the button. That's a good question. All right, let's go with the check. And that is correct. Yeah, we don't block any pair from the board. I guess give us like an ace, jack 8. Let's check that one out. Ace, jack. And we are single suited. Yeah, then it becomes a different story. Then we are betting pot half the time here. All right. Cool. So that makes all the difference, blocking at least one pair from the board. And, interesting, or what interests me is how about we have the bottom pair blocked, but not the straight draw. So give us the 8 deuce, yeah. What happens now? All right, that changes things quite a bit again. So that's interesting. Blocking a straight draw and blocking a pair makes this a pot bet half of the time. A pot size C bet, and then we're getting it in if we get raised. We're not folding at this point, I would assume. And so that was interesting to me. Removing the jack, the straight blocker, or the straight draw blocker, or a pair makes all the difference here. Cool. Queen 9-8, kind of an interesting one. Holding that 9 is pretty decent. Can we do some rivers? You know what? I don't think we can. Toad Milk, welcome back. We are still waiting on. Let me double check something. Post flop ranges, 3 pots. Right. So for post flop ranges, we're relying on simulations already run on Monker, in this case from the Mastermind people, and we are not fully hooked up to the cloud that contains all their simulations. So right now I was able to download some post flop stuff, which is parts of it you can see on the screen right here, and it only gives us a flop right now. So for now, no, but coming up soon, the ability to do more than just stuff on the flop, but also damn it, really. Sorry, the windows are being weird sometimes a little bit. There we go. So I would maybe c-bet this, trying to take it down right now. Mix 1 and 3. That's an interesting one. Or maybe check it now and bet some turns. Yeah. Bet safe turns, like anything lower than a 5. Yeah, I'm still gonna go with the check. No. Salvo bet this 50%. Damn it! Should have gone with my initial feeling. Yeah, I mean, really, there are no great turns to roll off except for a queen or an 8. So trying to take it down right now, as with a betting with a very weak hand, kind of makes some sense. Want to check the medium strong hands, bet, or sometimes check for deception the really strong hands. So might as well bet a weak hand here for like balancing purposes, I'd say. Holding a 9 is pretty huge. Let's see how we would fare without the 9. Let's go with 8-5 maybe. And then it's even more of a bet. No, sorry. It sometimes does get checked, sometimes it gets parted. Solver doesn't think in terms of balance, just max EV. Interesting. Yeah, I don't know much about Solver, so this is huge for me to know. Thank you, Legends. Good point, okay. All right. Top 2 with a jack in there and a 1 backdoor flush draw. Feels like a bet, right? Questions, do we bet half or do we bet? Yeah, do you know that for sure, Legends killed it? The solver doesn't. Oh, okay. The end result is. I gotcha, yeah. All right. You know what? That is probably something I should be looking into really soon. Like, how does the solver get to the results it's getting to, in order to understand these simulations or these quizzes a little bit better? Noted. Consider it noted. At least no limit solvers work like that. Yeah, fair enough. I'll look into it. Just occurs to me right now that looking into the very basics of this might be a good idea. So, what do we do with this? Do we check, maybe even? Do we bet 50% or do we bet pot if we want to bet? I probably just pot it against the cutoff open. We don't block many low cards. Well, we don't block any except for holding a pair of 8s. So yeah, I'm gonna go with the pot personally. Either check or pot. No, hang on, we're not checking this. Bavaria equals Quebec. Don't let the Bavarians hear, although they won't know. They won't know how it is in Quebec. They're just gonna go for all 3, huh? I think betting 50% has the least appeal, maybe? I mean, we do hold the jack. That one is pretty sweet. I'm gonna go with the pot myself. All right. Yeah, just potting it, getting it in. And let's check out something here. Let's say we're double suited. That part can stay. Let's say we block the low cards a little bit more. Let's say we have the king. That gives us straight draws as well. Let's see. Maybe king 10 8-6, something like that. That should still be in our 3-betting range pre. Yeah, here we're betting 50%, and I believe that is the reason that we are now blocking a lot of the draws that could raise us. So it's less likely that we get raised, and also fewer turns that we hate, I'd say, holding these blockers. It is good to be back, Chiching. It is awesome to have you here. Welcome back to visit this nature wonder. Welcome back, Chiching. That's what I meant to do. Give you the shout out. All right, so that was interesting to me. Aces with a 5 and a 4. Man, there's something wonky going on with my fonts recently. Ever since I upgraded the new graphics card, I'll figure this out. I'll figure it out. But something weird is going on. Doesn't matter too much right now. So we have aces with a 5 and a 4, blocking absolutely nothing from the board, but having a gutter to the idiot end of the straight. Seeing a lot of ones here. Yeah, I'm gonna go with the 1 myself, as we've seen earlier. Serge, KSS, welcome back, mate. So we've seen earlier, having something from the board is pretty important. We go through a few variations of this hand. See what the result is first. Checking 100% of the time. That seems correct. Now, let's go for the ace 10-8 maybe. Go for the single suited ones maybe. Okay, so that shifts it quite a bit once we have a pair from the board, and also the 10 blocker is pretty huge. I added a little border around it. I'm not sure I want to keep it. It's just a like placeholder thing, I guess. But yes, I did add that. So let's take away the 10. Take away that blocker, make it the 8 deuce, just blocking a pair from the board. Makes it a lot of checking, a lot of betting 50%. Okay. All right. Go for the next one. Aces, this time with no pair, but a straight blocker and a backdoor flush draw again. Yeah, hiking it would be for me as well. So does this change enough holding the 10 here to turn this into a bet? And if it is a bet, like what we've seen here, it's probably more of a 50%. Sonny poker, going for it all, betting the pot. Gonna go with the check again myself. Good to see you, mate. Welcome to the study stream. Welcome back, I should say. 2-1 mix, yeah. Just tuning in. Well, don't fret. These are gonna be a regular occurrence on the channel from now on. If you miss one, then there'll be the next one around the corner. Also, I upload these to YouTube. I made a playlist there for all the study streams, and they will be without music there. If just in case anybody prefers that. Can you increase difficulty? I've been following it on YouTube. Oh, there you go. Awesome. My YouTube channel is nothing special, but for this, it's perfect for uploading the streams. Can you increase the difficulty? What do you mean, Toad Milk? Like a more difficult spot? Okay, that's 100% check. Yeah, and if you go for variations here, it's probably going to show us that we're starting betting a lot. If you have the 10-8, for example, single suited. Oh, I see, I'm behind on my custom shoutouts. Ching, I need to make a Poke Boots one. Yeah, and that shifts it quite a bit once we block a pair and a draw. So you can see all the ones that have a backdoor flush draw. Is that correct? Clubs here. We have clubs here. Yes. Yes, all the ones containing a backdoor flush draw. Or we also have one with 2 backdoor flush draw blockers. All right. But mostly the ones that contain, well, at least one backdoor flush draw does get turned to a bet. And the important thing is that we have a pair from the board blocked and have the 10 blocking straight draws just a little bit. All right, next hand. 10-8-6-4. Oh, this hand looked very easy. Yeah, I mean, sometimes the easy ones surprise us. If we're talking about that single hand, then yeah. Already moved on to the next one. 10-8-6-4, holding a pair, some decent blockers, and a gutter. All in all, a weakish hand, I'd say. I'm gonna go with the one here myself. And that is correct. Sometimes gets potted. But, you know, if it's a 3% frequency, might as well let go. Betting 50%, that doesn't seem to be the hand for it. This is all in all a pretty weak hand. If you get called, we're not in love with it. If you get a fold, then fine, sure, but I think in position it's better to check this one back. This is not even a medium strong hand, I'd say. This is a weakish hand right now. Maybe give us 2 backdoor flush draws. 10-8-6-4. Double suited. Snake Bride at the channel as well. Good to see you. And shout out to you, mate. Don't yet understand the heuristics. Yeah, can't claim I do either. But for the double suited ones, yeah, there the picture is quite different, and we are potting the ones where we have 2 backdoors, and again the one with the 2 hearts, which I don't get why the ones with the 2 hearts make it in there, but you know, maybe we'll figure it out over time. If you had to understand PLO, welcome to the club. All right. Ace Jack Jack 7, giving us a pair, some decent blockers, decent future blockers, I should say, and 1 backdoor flush draw. Is it card game mastery or mystery? Mastery. Okay, mastery. So what do we do here? Do we check bet or I'd say we don't pot, right? Has to be a given. Bet 50% doesn't sound bad to me. Either checking or betting 50%. Yeah, wouldn't be surprised if this is going to be a mixed strategy spot. Maybe a little bit more checking than betting. We'll see. Yeah, I'm gonna go with the bet this time. And it is a 100% bet in this case. There you have it. Let's see. Ace, check 7. So we have some that check. Which ones are betting? Which ones are betting with a high frequency? How do we sort by frequency? Yeah, okay, nothing really pots it with 100% frequency except for one hand here. Ace, check 7. This one, so the weakest ones, basically. 2 of the weakest ones potted. And other than that, it's a lot of betting half pot or some checking. All right. Yeah, I don't quite get it. I mean, we're blocking ranges that raise us a little bit. We're blocking King 7. We're blocking the Jack 10, the wraps quite nicely, especially the high wraps. Like the 6-5-4 ace in our opponent's hands. Probably not going to raise us here. So maybe that's it. Future blockers, or we're building a pot. Yeah, I would say a mix between realizing fold equity or just giving our opponent a chance to fold and blocking the hands that can raise us. Maybe could make this into a bet. You're gonna see a lot of spots where I have no clue. In case that hasn't become apparent already. Should be an easy one, right? Should be, from what we've seen, the solver likes to check here a lot. This time we have pure blockers, the 4, a very minor blocker, the 10, not that valuable on its own as well. So yeah, I'm gonna go with the check myself. And that's correct. This is King 4. This one is a little bit different. And we can start using some buckets here in a moment, filter our hands further. Maybe go for rundown, stuff like that. Betting half pot. I could see some argument for all 3. So we have a lot of... Oh, sorry, I hadn't started a poll yet. You all put these numbers in there and I hadn't started a poll. My bad. So put your votes in again if you want. Thinking... Checking doesn't sound horrible. Not... Potting doesn't sound horrible. For some reason, I like betting 50% the least. Prefer to either pot it or check it. But I could be completely wrong. Go with check. 100% check. Yeah. All right. This is 4-2. So let's start using some buckets here, why don't we? All right, choose some buckets. At least you're creative. So. Rainbow Broadway pairs. Let's go with these. how can go with, okay, not so flush draws are not gonna be here. Go with top and bottom, top two pair. With all the wraps. And see where that takes us. All right. What kind of hands we get given now? Because now we can also use the, like this one, and have a general overview. What this bucket would do in general here. All right, all right. We respect your aggression. Okay, so we have it all. We have all the pairs. We have all the backdoor flush draws. The question is, do we bet 50%, trying to get our opponent to come along, or do we want to pot it right now? So no straight blockers. That's the only downside here. Ching going for the 50% as well. Yeah, probably gonna go for the 50% myself too. Everybody unanimous. Oh, no straight blocker. There's no flush. Yeah. 100%. Right on. Two pair with a blocker and a backdoor flush draw. If these buckets are too easy, like if these hands are too easy, we might as well switch it up. But I wanted to try out the buckets, basically. Now we explore like the additional functionality we have with these buttons here. For now, let's do this hand. Oh, I need to start the poll, sorry. So you can only vote if the poll is on screen. Sometimes I forget to click that button. In which case, feel free to yell at me. I'd say 50% here again, right? Looks to be a pretty similar spot. This one actually a little bit better, holding the queen and the 9. It's future blockers or immediate blockers. We have a Legends Killer going for the pot here. Doesn't sound unreasonable either. Just get it in if we get raised. Yeah, and that's a mixed spot. Equities really close together. Or the expected value, I should say. Not the equity in this case. All right, so what can we do with these? This one should show us... Oh, this shows us... Oh, okay, so we have... This category is in 2 buckets that we've selected, right? So let's go with the top 2 one and see what... Ah, see, that's... EV columns. Okay, so what can we do with this? The dotted out hand is the queen, as always. We can say, okay, so we could check what bets pot. The king queen 8-6 here. It's 50%. All right, noted. Suit variations shows us this window. Okay, as you can see, I'm still learning the bucket tool and how to use it properly. So sometimes I like to click on things. This one is just for mouse over, where we see how different buckets would do here. All right, cool. Aces with the top pair blocked. No backdoor flush draw. So I don't think we're potting this. We are betting 50%, right? I'd say it's check or pot. Yeah, when there's no, yeah, that's a good point. Teaching, yeah. Man, I'm having trouble reading the chat. There's some blurriness going on with my Windows fonts. I'll figure it out. Yeah, I'm gonna go with the pot here myself. Let's see where it takes us. No, that's 50%, 100% of that time. All right, now this might be a spot to actually use these. Top pair. Here to kicker. It doesn't matter. Let's go with the top pair. And we can use a filter here. So now we can add all the hands that have aces. Perfect. All right. So which bet pot? We have a bunch of them. 29% of the aces bet pot. And those, do ours have a flush draw? No. So the ones that bet pot all have a flush draw. See the, or yeah, up here. That way you see the board up there. Which ones check? The ones without, with one backdoor flush draw, okay. With the king high flush draw, like really low cards, all the ones with really low side cards here, or with the queen and one flush draw, no flush draw. That's interesting that it checks the one with the queen. Aces, king, queen. All right. Yes. Oh, here we have some with a higher card with the king 9 in there as well. That one checks. Interesting. Not sure what to make of it. And which ones bet 50%? The ones with no flush draw. That seems to be the pattern, right? Or with no low cards. I'll be honest, I'll need more time to make meaningful deductions from these secondary windows here. Move on to the next hand for now. So a spot where we hit absolutely nothing. Except the gutter and backdoor stuff. Can't make a top pair. Might be weak enough to actually bet. But without hitting anything from the board. Might be a bet or just a standard check back. You know what? I'm gonna go with the two backdoor flush draws. Gonna go with the check as well. Maybe bet it with one backdoor flush draw. Check up on that in a moment. Let's just go 1 or 2, yeah. Betting pot. Sleazy EMF. Welcome back. All right, I'm gonna go with the nitty option. Surprise, surprise. I know. Check and sometimes a bet. So mixed strategy here. And oh, we probably don't even need that. Where's that window? Where did that window go? How did that work? I know it. We'll just do it the old school way in the main window. For now, move this out of the way. So it is Queen Jack 5-4. Double suited? Do we have a double suited one that we bet? I would assume it's one with hearts, right? 5-4. Yeah, ones with hearts and a queen high backdoor flush draw or jack high backdoor flush. Now hang on, these are the low frequency ones. Okay, so it's a lot of checking and then a lot of mixed strategy here. The weakest ones seem to get bet. Not the ones with 2 backdoor flush draws mostly though. Although there's some mixing going on here as well. All right. Man, the chat fonts are killing me. Yeah, the 2 backdoor flush draws might make this into a check more often and bet it with 1 backdoor or no backdoor flush draw more often. Likes betting double backdoor flush draws. All right, Legends Killer, thank you for that input yet again. So the solver likes to bet double backdoor flush draws. No, very much noted. This seems pretty nice. The king, the top pair, and a wrap and a backdoor flush draw. Probably don't want to check this back. And maybe don't need to pot it here either. So personally, I'm going to go with the 2. Let's consider sometimes potting it as well. With the 50%, and that seems to be the way the solver does it. That's the kind of hand I want to check out. So we have no pair from the board, but that doesn't matter much since we just flop absolutely huge with a complete wrap. And 2 backdoor flushes. So the question is, do we ever pot it here? Philly 111, welcome to the study stream. Nice to see some new names. We also had a gut shot, if I'm not mistaken. Did we? Yes, we did. We had the 6 would have given us the 8 high straight. That previous hand here. All right, most people seem to be wanting to bet half, and or he could pot it and just get it in on any turn, except maybe another king or something like that. Go with 50. Even checks it back. I can only assume the checking back is to protect our check back range because we flopped huge here, right? So there's a little bit for deception, I'd say. Interesting one. This is King Jack. That's a powerful hand if ever I've seen one pre-flop. 2 backdoor flushes and a top pair blocked and a jack in there. This has to be some sort of bet, I would assume. Sleazy going for the mixed option here. Yeah, I'm gonna go with the pot myself. All right, all right. Interestingly, now it does show us the expected value by betting half pot, which is exactly the same as betting pot, apparently. So in this case, it makes sense that the solver maximizes fold equity by betting pot. Trying to take the pot down right now, I'd say. Also an interesting one. Yeah, see, these are the types of hands that are at least very interesting to me in this spot. If you would like to see some other hands, let me know and I'll select the appropriate buckets. Started pulled up again. A 3-card wrap and a backdoor flush draw. Probably a mix between, that's a good question. Yeah, it has to be a mix between 1 and 2, right? Betting pot? Yeah, I'm still pondering about betting pot as well. Doesn't seem completely out of the question here. Now I'm curious. Now I'm successfully confused myself. I'm gonna go with the check. All right. So 100% check. Is there a hand like this that we are betting pot with? Queen 9. But if it's not, well, yeah, no, this one only has one backdoor. Queen 9, 6, 5. Suited. Okay, so there's one combination of hands, one specific combination, which we might as well just completely ignore. And that only at 2%, yeah, so it's 100% check confirmed. Now we have, that's a pretty strong hand, right? 2 backdoors as well, top and bottom, and a gutter to the nuts. And as always, that means excellent blockers. So we're hitting this board pretty hard, right? We're gonna pot it here. We certainly don't want to check it, right? Nah. I can't decide between betting 50%, betting pot. Be shocked if it's a mixed strategy. I'm gonna go with the pot. No. 100% a half pot size bet. Okay. So it's King Jack 10, 7, double suited. All right, no outliers there. Let's change the hand up a little bit. Let's make it, first of all, let's make it a middle pair. See what happens now. No change there. And if you make it a top pair and the complete high wrap, even then, the 9-6, the only other one I can think of, but okay, so the weakest one, basically, the 9-6, the pure open-ender, which none of the straights we make would give us the nut straight, right? Oh, I tell a lie, the 5. We got 4 outs to one nut straight. So those potted, the very weakest ones, you know, within that specific category of hands, within the sort of wraps here, top pair in the wrap, or top pair in this case an open-ender. All right, all the other ones bet 50%. Cool. Aces with the gut shot. Not blocking any pairs from the board, blocking draws, however. For what we've seen, a lot of checking, some 50% betting maybe. So I'm gonna go with to check myself here. Yeah, I don't think betting half pot is horrible either. Let's see, and it's not, and it's wow, interesting. 5. So what stands out is that betting half pot is the least preferred option by the solver. It's checking or betting pot. Both have actually betting 50% has a slightly higher expected value. Also interesting, but 0.1 big blind, not a huge difference here. That one is kind of weird. Sort by the probability. Is that the one? Yes. So which ones do we bet there? Not many. The ones with the backdoor flush draw, but weaker because we have 3 of them. That would be 100%. So let's see, what are the others? Those would be 2 backdoor flush draws. Or 1 perfect backdoor flush draw. Interesting. I can't quite come up with decent reasoning here for why the solver approaches it like that. All right. Take it at face value. I'm sure over time we'll gain more insight into similar spots and hopefully start having an idea as to the whys in regards to the house. If I go for a mix of everything, I'm wrong. Well, I mean, insofar as study results go, this is not a bad takeaway. Do the opposite in those cases. 10, 10, 8, 7 here. 2 pair. I think we want to bet this now. Potting doesn't seem horrible. It would have to be a pot fold, right? We're not getting it in here, are we? That's bottom 2. 2 backdoor flush draws make this. Maybe we don't want to bet pot. The standard starts to hurt if we need to fold. Or if we get repotted and then are in a sucky spot. So it might be bet 50% or check. I'm gonna go with the check. Pot call. Yeah. And it is a pot call. 100% of the time. Well done there, Healy. Utilize the 10s, yeah. All right. A beautiful hand. So we've seen the solver check back a similar, actually a stronger hand. One with a 4-card wrap. So other than that, it's a similar scenario. We have the 2 backdoor flushes and a huge wrap. Let's say we bet 50% here, a lot. We do want the cutoff to come along. Checking back. Gonna go with the 2. Let's see. It's a very much mixed strategy between 1 and 2. Right on. Oh god, I'm gonna have trouble with this name. Leng Tsui. Let's go with Leng Tsui. Thank you very much for the follow. So this time we have pure blockers holding 2 9s. But no pair from the board. It has to be a check, right? Do we sometimes bet this as a bluff? Nah, not blocking a pair from the board. I think betting pot there, Sleazy, huh? Well, I hope I don't meet you at the tables. You're gonna be tough to play against if you potted like this, in a spot like this. I'm not saying it's wrong. I'm rather impressed. Could be a pot fold, yeah. It really could be. So 50% bet is out, right? Be shocked to see that on the screen. I'm gonna go with the conservative check myself. And it does get bet 50% half the time here. Interesting. Well, again, we're blocking raising ranges, at least the draws, quite nicely. Some down here, oh well. Betting the weakest ones. What the ones? Yeah, the weaker ones, the ones where the backdoor flush draw is not ace high or just isn't there at all. That's the other spot if we had a few more 100%ers here. And the ones with triple suited, so where we have a backdoor flush draw, but it's weakened by the fact that we have 3 of the same suit. That seems to be a uniform pattern here. All right, so bet the very weakest ones and, you know, within that specific hand. And check everything that's slightly stronger than those, basically, is my takeaway there. All right. So gutter, 2 backdoor, not gutter, open-ender, 2 backdoor flush draws. So we've seen the solver likes to bet here, but still, even knowing that, I would go for the check. It's one of those where we just hate to get raised. But that might be the inappropriate way of thinking about it. No answer. I just checked no answer in the mastermind to our question. Right. So yeah, the checks have it. And check is okay. Cool. Similar hand, sort of similar. Also equity against the set, I bet it's okay. The equity against the bet is probably not, a set is probably not horrible, yeah, with the 2 backdoors. I couldn't tell you, I would say it's somewhere around 30%, but that's just a guess, it's not math-based. Where's Kippery when you need him? He knows this kind of stuff. No, but this one time we have the open-ender with the top pair. Queen in there for good measure as well. Betting, oh. It's still a weakish hand. Personally, I'm gonna go without higher blockers, I'm gonna go with the check. Nit that I am. No, the bets have it. And it's mostly a bet pot, interestingly enough. And we're not folding this one if we get raised on a rainbow board. So it's a pot, get it in. All right. So with the top pair, it's very much mixed. With the straight draw, it's way less mixed. It's a check 50% of the time. But this is a pretty strong one, seeing that we hold the top pair and the backdoor flush draw. All right. Let's go with the ones that bet pot here. How many of those are there? But oh wait, that's including a lot of really strong hands. Let's. How did this work? There was exclude, right? I think it was king, king. No, that doesn't work. What was the command for exclude? Oh, I think I just did it wrong. Yeah, that seems to work. And actually, we don't want to have an ace in there at all. So how many bet pot hands does it leave us? Quite a few. Let's see. One with the accent blockers and the open-ender pots it and gets it in, I would assume. We're not folding here. So king 10, 9, 9. Similarly, the one with the, what was the flop? 7. The one with the open-ender or the gutter. The 9 high gutter or open-ender. Those bet pots. The one with the top pair, 2 backdoors, and at the low wrap, bet pot as well. Or with the 9 high gutter or open-ender again, okay, but 2 backdoor flush draws here. The one with the hearts, we have to figure out why the hearts keep making an appearance here. I don't get it yet. I don't get it. The ones with the 10s, with the gutter and the 10s, okay, so I'm assuming we're not folding these either to a raise. The king jack 10 10 here on the king 8 7 board. All right, so we're potting the ones that have some decent backups, it seems. Which ones are we betting 50%? So here it's mostly ones that have 1 flush draw, what I claim, or king queen 9 6 top pair and the open ender with 2 backdoors. Right, okay. Moving on to the next hand, 2 pair and blockers. Two pair blockers, 1 backdoor flush draw. Betting pot here. Betting pot doesn't seem that horrible, yeah. Yeah, I'm gonna go with the pot size bet myself. No, 100% check here. Ruklas got swayed and good to see you, mate. Decided to go for the pot size bet as well. The complete wrap with a jack high backdoor flush draw. About the check for the previous hand, I closed the windows with the previous hands. Is it still showing it to me? No, that's something else here. Can dive into that in a moment as well. Yeah, unfortunately, I closed the window, so I can't bring up the previous hand. It was a Jack 8-7-6 or something. I'd rather check better 2-pair. Yeah, that's not a bad point. That's why I got swayed and figured I'm got a potted here as well. All right, let me restart the poll for this one. Go for the bet 50% here. Sounds reasonable. We're not going anywhere if we get raised. Again, we're blocking the raising ranges, at least the draws. Don't block a pair from the board. Block the backdoor nut flush draw. It's kind of interesting too. Bottom 2 does bad against the raise. Yeah, that's true. I blocked 2 sets, yeah. Still pertain to the previous hand, but obviously. All right, here, betting 50%, huh? We crushed against check raises. Yeah, that we most likely are. All right, so what do we do with this one? I'm gonna go with the 50 with the half pot size c-bet as well in position here, and it's more of a check. Seems we don't block any pair from the board. Let's change that and give us the king. Jack 10-9. We block the top pair. I would think we're gonna see a lot of betting here. Very little checking. Yeah. Matter of fact, we're betting 100% basically for half pot. Okay, so that makes all the difference. Blocking a pair from the board. Just go Jack 10-9 and see if the fourth card blank. I think we do. Yeah. And that seems to be the pattern, that we're checking all the ones that don't hit a pair. None of these have a pair. A king and 8 or 7 that would pair us up. Yeah. Checking all the ones that don't hit a pair, basically. And betting all the ones that do. There's some betting going on here with like a pretty similar hand to what we are having. But just as a reminder, it shows that 11% of the time, even this hand gets bet here. But that would be my takeaway, that to start betting, to start increasing the pot here, we want to have some more than just a 3-card wrap. We want to have a pair from the board blocked as well. All right. Similar spot, except, well, our backdoor flush draw would be to the nuts this time, and we have a pair from the board. On the other hand, we only have a gutter, which would be to the nuts, but 2 very nice blockers on the flip side of that. Do we ever bet this? On third pot, yeah, unfortunately that's not an option. Yeah, I can only work with what the solved solutions were solved for, and that's in this case betting half pot or betting pot. So maybe 50%. Yeah, I could go with the 50%. Who bets 1/3 these days? I still do a lot. And it might very well be wrong, which is, of course, the whole point of these trainings for me. That actually has been one takeaway, just looking through the post-flop solutions provided by the mastermind, that a third gets used out of position more than in position. It's quite the opposite of what I remember. But cool. So equal split between checking and betting half. I'm going to go with half here as well, but it's 100% check. 100% check back this one. Yeah, I mean, it is a weakish hand, but it does have some potential. Kind of see this being in the check range, actually. It's King 10-6, top pair. The gutter, backdoor, nut flush draw. The check bet pot. I'm sure you can make this into a winning strategy. Dunk bet a lot in no limit for 1/3. Yeah, I see that as well on streams. People doing that a lot in no limit. Yeah, I'm going to go with the bet 50% here as well. Last one was check. Last one was 100% check back. Just kind of even potting it here sometimes. I think, by the way, if you wanna, I don't even. Let me try how this works. Like, if I do, can I do 2 votes? You know, it counts the vote for bet half, and if I now put in 3, it tells me already voted, so you cannot change your vote. Okay, and you can't cast 2 votes. Fair enough. Actually, this is a pot 100% of the time here in Solverland. Look at the EV, yeah. All right, interesting. Very similar to the hand we've had earlier. So I'm not going to leave the poll up too long in this one. It should be a check, right? From what we've seen earlier. Not holding a pair. Check, and what was it? Like 11% betting half. You got the top wrap. Yeah, but we just had a hand like this a moment ago. Apparently the solver would like to have a pair here on top of everything else to commence betting. So I'm going to go with the check. Yes. And that holds true. And again, give us a pair. Well, we just had that one on screen. Give us a pair from the board and we bet it. The complete wrap again with 2 backdoor flushes. And we've, from what I remember, well, I don't want to spoil it. I'm going to leave the poll up for a second. But I do remember the spot. And it was basically the exact same hand. Just potting it. I don't see anything wrong with it, but I do remember what the solver answer was, and it wasn't pot as far as I recall. Maybe it is this time around. Long 2 back makes it a bet. Let's see. So it is mixed, but it mostly gets checked here. Again, every option is good. Yeah, I don't hate potting, getting it in if you get raised, that's fine. But just something to note that the solver checks here a lot without a pair. It's a wholly different story if you have the 9-8-6-5, I would assume. 6-5. That was suited. Yeah. There, no checking is involved as soon as we have a pair. Half pot is superior. Yeah, the solver agrees, man. All right. Aces with the gutter. All right, I do remember a similar spot as well. So I got my answer locked. Let's killer, you duck poke. What's going on? Yeah, he's not my cup of tea either. Gonna leave it at that. Not necessarily. Checking seems reasonable. Personally, I'm gonna go with the pot size as well. We had a very similar, like we had an ace-king 10-6 earlier, and that one got potted. So this time granted we don't block a pair from the board. It might make enough of a difference, but we do hold the overpair to the kings, so might be half pot. Now that I would be surprised by. Not the first time today that I'd be surprised. Just killer, just hedging his bets there. Okay, I'm gonna go with the pot. No! And the option nobody guessed, but Ruklas hinted at, is the way here. Told ya! So, let's see, which ones are we potting? Quite a few. And probably get rid of kings in here. Or just any king, I guess. Change much? Did that work? Kings are gone? Kings are gone, right. So let's check this out. Mix everything from now on, yeah. Why potting so bad? Yeah, let's try to figure this out. So what is the solver potting? The solver is potting, we have the king 8-7 board, right? It's actually potting it with some hands that are very similar to this. The ace is 10-6, which has a worse backdoor flush draw or no backdoor flush draw. So the absolute, like, ones that are even weaker than this one, where the backdoor flush draw is not there, non-existent, or not to the ace. And the rest that gets potted, I assume, would be the ones having pairs from the board, and that seems to be right. Pairs from the board and the straightening blocker. Well, yeah, the 10 we did there. And yeah. And then there's, again, some mixed strategy going on with the weaker ones, it seems. The ones that have no backdoor flush draw, or not an ace-high one. This is where the mixed strategy starts. All right. Man, my chat is killing me. I can't read it. What the blurry fuck? Jesus Christ. All right. Cool. So we're potting the ones that have a pair from the board, or the weakest category of this exact hand with the 10-6. And which ones are we checking? That might be interesting too. The ones that have low cards or ace 10-10. Let's take ace 10-10 out of there as well. Queen 10-10. All right, just scroll down, see how many there are. Oh, quite a bit, okay. So first thing is low cards, right? Wheel cards, those we check. And then we check. Try to remember all of this in game. Yeah, good point. Which is why I'm always trying to find a pattern. And also why these study sessions will be plentiful. So learning by repetition, basically. The dotted out card is a queen, as always. So the ones that don't connect further to the board, down to like with all the wheel cards, with 4 Broadway cards, that don't have a king. And that's pretty much it exclusively. Or the ones that have a pair from the board, but don't have a backdoor flush draw. All right. I think that was rather useful, that one. Jacks and 10s, interesting. So my personal approach would be to check and then go crazy on certain turns. Like anything our blockers come into play. Hang on, I'll be back in a second. Right. Oh, Mogris, hey, welcome back to the channel, mate. Yeah, way ahead of you. I got the study spot in here, and it's also part of the poll question up here. Just to make doubly sure people see it. If this is a bet, I'll uninstall Party Poker immediately, never play PLO again. Oh, there you go. Words to live by, Aruklas. There you go. Say me, shut up. So solver likes betting, sometimes even potting here. Be very curious to see what the solver would do if he gets repotted. But alas, we are unable to answer that right now. Maybe we will be in the future when we get more simulations from the mastermind. Potting seems really weird, yeah. It does, doesn't it? I still hope to God that I set up these ranges correctly. Not folding? Yeah, it has to be bot folding, right? You're not getting it in at this point. You're just doing horribly against something that repots you with just the gutter. And I guess a few set outs. Should I make doubly sure to see if I imported all the right ranges? You know what? Let's do that. I mean, if we find out now that... Hang on, Jack, 10, 10. Let's keep that in mind. Jack, 10, 10 with... Let me just write this down and make doubly sure. Jack, 10, 10. It would be a bummer if we now find out that I set the spot up wrong. but at least we would know. And it's hard. So this would be a 68 and 32% mix. Okay, let's close this and redo these ranges here. So pre-flop, I checked earlier did I set this up correctly, and now it's post-flop ranges. It is a 3-bet pot. It is a 3-bet pot. We're in position. Board is unpaired, and we have the King 8-7. King 8-7. There you go. First range would be the checking range. Same spiel for the 50%. Post-flop ranges in position. 3-bet pot, unpaired board. King 8-7, right? All right, and that would be the 50% one. Right? You know, from now on, I'll probably set these spots up not before the stream, but once the stream is up, so I have more eyes looking on it while I'm still figuring out the tool itself. Did I make a mistake? You could tell me. So again, 3-bet pot in position, unpaired. Again, we're looking for the King 8-7 one. And this time it would be the 100% bet size. Okay. Furao 87. Thank you very much for the follow. Appreciate it. So now we should have this, and it was the Jack of clubs, Jack of diamonds, 10 of clubs, and 10 of hearts. Okay, good news, good news. I apparently set up everything correctly, even though we've gotten some weird results. Apparently, they are what the solver would do. And I'm really trying to read the chat, but it's so blurry. There's something wrong on my end. I said it before. I'll fix it for the next stream. I'll try my best to make it out. One pot is worth we can get folds from trash. Lots of ways to improve, yeah. Doesn't sound horrible, that line of thinking. We can continue bluffing on a 6, 7, 9, or on a straightening card the 10s at least come into play in. So, all right. Remove the filter. Add the buckets to the filter and restart draining. All right. Pull. Use it. There you go. We have a pair. We have a double gutter. Yeah. And a myriad of blockers. I could see this being a bet. We're blocking the ranges that raise us quite nicely. Actually, block calling ranges quite nicely, so we might just take this one down right away. I'm gonna go with the bet here, personally. Bet half pot. Let's see. Bets the pot. Interesting. So that's gotta be pot size bet and then get it in. Because we're not folding to a repot on this with this hand on this board. I got nothing else to say about this one. I don't know, man. The straight draws, only 13% of these potted. Let's see. Hang on. Isn't there a thingy? A lot of peeps would have gone for the half pot as well, huh? What hand category did we have here? It is the straight draw. just a straight draw. And yeah, we're potting 13% of these. Weren't we able to? Oh yeah, okay. So let's check out the straight draw here. Straight draw, which ones are we potting? I guess remove the aces. Yeah, apparently I set up everything correctly. So which ones are we potting? Hang on, we probably want to remove all the Broadway cards. Ace, king, jack. What was our hand? Yeah. Just want to see the low ones. All right, all right. Not that many that we pot. Potting it with the tens in there as well. That's interesting. That's the open ender and excellent blockers and a pair from the board. Backdoor flush draw. So we do pot quite a few hands. Very interesting. The strongest ones. We just mash that pot button here. Yeah, I guess we want to avoid getting called by like an ace king too lightly. Like, which would otherwise maybe call ace king with a backdoor flush draw, no blockers. If you bet 50%, they probably have to call. Probably should call. So maybe that's the reasoning behind betting pot, generating some fold equity. And we're never in horrible shape if we get called. We're never in horrible shape if we get it in. Quite the opposite, in fact. Do we bet anything? 50%. Let's see. That's interesting. Why do you think? So that's two backdoor flush draws. Betting half pot with the weaker ones. Is there anything? Roland Stott. Hey, welcome to the channel, mate. Is there anything we don't bet 50% and get it in? What do we bet fold? The last question I'm unable to answer right now. What we bet fold? Because we don't get to ask what happens after we make our decision right now in post-flop scenarios. Pre-flop we could, but post-flop we can't currently. So what we're not betting 50%. Well, we've seen we bet pot with a bunch of hands, but we also with very similar hands bet 50%. But those have a few more higher cards. You check this out. Like here we mostly have like 8 high and 9 high. Mostly. And a whole bunch of single pairs or double pairs, 10s and 9s. Or a pair of 10s. Yeah, otherwise it's, when it comes to wraps, they're mostly 9 high, 8 high. And we bet 50% the higher ones. Again, two backdoor flush draws here. I wonder why that is. Why does the solver bet the ones, the higher ones here a lot? Is that even correct? Yeah, sort of. Sort of remains true. All right, I can't. More V to get him to call fold to turn jam. That might be it, yeah. That might be it, Roland. Good point. All right, let's move on to the next hand. Finish the poll, hide the poll, redo the poll, click the next hand. So two pair and a gutter and pretty nice blockers, two backdoor flush draws. Hitting that flop pretty huge, right? Top two. Was going to go grocery shopping and trying to see all the study streams. Awesome. Yeah, that's awesome to hear. Yeah, I'll do another half hour. Then I need to get some food in me and go to the grocery store myself. Matter of fact. Oh, I didn't click start the poll yet. So what do we do? I guess we don't check it, right? We either bet 50% or bet pot. Yeah, I'm gonna go with 50% myself. All right, let's do this. And that is 100% correct. Sometimes check, I guess. To protect your checking range, yeah, but we already have a bunch of medium strong stuff in there, so might as well bet this one. I've been checking those, so it does sound horrible either. 2 pair and the gutter. And the backdoor flush draw, 9 high. So when it comes to this hand and very, very similar hands, this is one of the weaker ones. So this might be a pot. We've seen the... It's hard to tell when the solver likes to mix. Yeah. I'm getting that as well. Yeah, this might be a pot size bet. Yeah, I'm gonna go with the pot size. Make it a little bit stronger, and maybe we want to bet 50%. Interesting. 100% check, huh? So let's see. We have the King 9, 7, 5. King 9, 5. And we have a double suited. Just 100% check back, basically. The few outliers we might as well ignore. Go with make it 1 pip stronger. Just a pure open-ender. I didn't want to look like a fool. Yeah, okay, it changes massively once we give ourselves an open-ender on top of that. So, all right, even though we block potential draws there, the solver would check this one. That is interesting to me. King, Queen, Jack 9. Assuming you mean double suited. If not, let me know. Jack. Yeah, that changes it quite a bit. Giving us, well, it does give us top 2. And blocking and having the higher gutter. Do we have a gutter? Yeah, we have the gutter for with the 10. And blocking the higher straight draws. So there we just mostly potted. Single 2 shouldn't give us top 2. What do you mean? Oh, it's something like... Well, we only have a single pair here. We don't have top 2. Yeah, it doesn't give us top 2. So it's a weaker hand, right? Than the King 7, than the one in our that we had in the quiz. So this is a little bit stronger, so it goes into the checking range, protecting that, I would assume. And the weakest hands we bet pot here with. And most of them have, well, yeah, a lot of them only have 1 straight draw. Again, with the hearts. Man, I swear, we have to figure out why the hearts keep showing up. There's something going on there. Speak up to maybe more playable than King 9, 7, 5. Yeah. There might be a... All right. No pair and a decent wrap, and... Well, a low wrap, actually, and 2 backdoor flushes. Wouldn't be shocked if this is yet another check without a pair. Because we've had similar Similar hands. Yeah. The hard combos sometimes get played more. From what we've seen, the pattern seems to be the hard combos get played more aggressively. Like in a spot like this, where without the hearts, it would bet 50%, and then with the hearts, it would bet full pot. Has been a pattern so far today. Let's not go with one. Well, my logic is based on what we've seen earlier, that the solver, like in this spot now, Roland, that the solver likes to have a pair. Unblocking all the backdoors. Yeah, that might be it. It has to have something to do with that. Oh, that's what you mean. Yeah, no, I get it. By holding two hearts, we make it more likely the opponent has a backdoor flush draw as well, right? Just got back from gym, missed a part. Yeah, no worries. Let's see if it holds true here. And it does indeed. So it's slow going, but I'm learning something. I hope you are too. Another interesting one. Blocking the top pair and little else. Actually, nothing else. And so this might... Oh. We've seen this one checked a lot. And instinctively, I would say I want to pot it here a lot as well. But I'm sort of tripping over myself. I seem to recall that if it's bet, we've seen 50% with a similar hand. Jesus, I'm confused. Yeah, it's you and me both, man. So I'm, based on what we've seen so far, I'm going to go with a mix between check and betting half pot, personally. Although I want to point out, I do want to bet pot. Some numbers, welcome back to the channel, going for the pot size bet there. So it's a wild mix of options here this time around. Again, learned something or retained some knowledge from earlier. That with a hand like this, the solver doesn't bet the pot. It's a mix between checking and betting half pot here. All right. Pretty sweet hand as well. Similar to the one we just had, except this time we do have a pair from the board. Again, two backdoor flushes. Only the open ender, so the draw is weaker. Mate hand is, well, we do have a mate hand. As weak as it is. I actually see this being a check. The more I think about it. Give us a wrap, and we want to bet here a lot, I would say. Yeah, I'm gonna go with the check myself. Seems turn determined. Yeah, it's a nice way of putting it. A lot of 1/2 and check, yeah. Let's go with the check. Huh. I think it's safe to assume that this result surprised most, if not all of us. I say, all right, let's dive into the, what can we do? Yeah, I think there is, Oaklas. Let's see. Let's first of all go with the... There was an easier way of doing this. Maybe it was this one here. Now it shows us all the hands from this, with a straight draw from this bucket. Let's do away with aces, do away with kings. Actually do away with all the sets. 7, 7. Why doesn't that work? Oh, there you go. All right, even shows us in a V column here. Move this over so it's not hidden by the pole. Man, I hate this study session because I can't read the chat easily. Jesus Christ. 10 of orange, yeah. More surprised by the 50% taken there. I guess that's because the 2 backdoor flush draws, yeah. On the bottom, it shows the distribution, right? Well, let's dive into this. Let's dive into this window here a little bit. So what do we have? We have hand set bet pot. What was our hand? Let's get rid of the king, get rid of the jack, get rid of the... Yeah, that's probably it. All right, now we're getting a little bit closer. Which ones are we checking? Checking 100%. Now you can actually see the EV for this action as well. That's exactly what I wanted to see. Yeah, perfect. Again, the dotted out card is the queen. So we're checking, what are we checking? Things that don't connect to the board at all, but have an open ender. And have a backdoor flush draw or 2 backdoor flush draws. So the weakest ones, ace 5, 5, 4, that makes a lot of sense. 6s and 5s makes sense. Ace 9, 8, 5. All right, so these are all going into the checking category. This hand does as well. This hand doesn't. What are we betting? 2%. The better wraps with a pair. So the pretty strong hands, it seems. 2 pair with a wrap. Or 2 pair with an open ender. The pair gutters, pair open enders with an ace. And what are we potting? Some interesting ones that we're potting as well. This one seems to be a curious one. I think we can, this seems to be the only hand of this type in here, so we'll just go ahead and ignore that. And the very strongest ones, it seems. 2 backdoor flush draws. All right. Time, okay. Maybe another 10 minutes, something like that, then I'm gonna call it a session. Go on me dinner break. And be back with the tournament and some cash gameplay later tonight. What's the deal now? This time we have a pair, an open ender, and a backdoor flush draw. Just gonna go on for the pot size bet. Instinctively I would bet 50%. I think at runtime that's what I would have done up until now. So I'm actually gonna go with that too. Yeah, let me click that button, see what happens. Okay, so apparently that's not horrible. It's not a check. And it's mostly betting half pot and sometimes potted here. Betting half pot slightly more profitable. All right. Is king 8-4 top 2 with a backdoor flush draw? Could see this being a pot size maybe? Again, I think at runtime, up until now, I would have potted here a lot. Pot and get it in. Legends Killer hedging is bad. I believe Legends Killer, in that case, your vote doesn't get counted. I don't know. Oh, never mind. It did count for 1? I don't know. But it seems good, yeah. Let's go with the pot. And that seems to be the overwhelmingly preferred option by the solver there. Nice. Yeah, make it a little bit stronger, and we bet 50%. Let's see, let's go with the ace king 10-8, maybe. Yeah, wouldn't be exactly. Now we're leaning more towards betting half pot. Was check more EV. It is actually slightly higher EV than betting pot. Turn playability sucks, only one backdoor flush draw, yeah. All right. Oh, that's a strong one. Jack 10, 9, 6, the complete wrap. 2 backdoor flush draws. Yeah, so I was taking EV's strategy into account. All right, yeah. Here, betting 50%. I would bet it too. I wouldn't be shocked if we see that the solver would check it again without a pair. But honestly, at runtime, I would bet 50% here. I wouldn't want to pot it. I would very much like my opponent to come along. So no need to try to generate additional fold equity by potting it, maybe. But yeah, so I'm going to go with 50%. I wouldn't be shocked to see a check. And it is a 100% check. So very few hands are potting it here with the Jack 10. It's the ones with the huge blockers, the Jacks or the 10s. The rest, this one, the stuff we can ignore. Jack 10, 9 deuce, whatever. It's a pot-sized bluff. What about one backdoor flush draw? All right, we'll check that out in a moment as well. That is pretty important to note. I agree, Aruklas. And that's a pattern we've seen today. Oh, you mean that we pot very low equity hands with really good blockers? Yeah. Agreed. So, which ones are we betting? First thing that is apparent, the weaker ones. Only one backdoor, one flush draw. This one is 2. Pair and a gutter. Out of Jack 10, 9, 8. Jack 10, 8 again. 7, 6. Dropping important takeaway for free. You can follow his channel where he plays PLO in return. See, Aruklas? That's how nice I am. All right, and what is your question with one backdoor flush draw? So let's go with a Jack 10, 9, 6. Jack 10, 9, 6. Single suited. Good question. We don't have that hand in there. We don't 3-bet on the button. We don't 3-bet the cutoff with that hand. So the solver is unable to answer that for us. Pair very important for betting, yeah. Oh, right. It could just be, yeah, I see. Let's go with double suited then. Go like this, 100% check. Doesn't matter if you only have one backdoor. There you have it. That, do we remember? That's the question. We had similar spots. Geez, I'm off then. Yeah, I mean, I find plenty of spots every day, Roland, where I'm off. It's an opportunity to learn. So, do we remember correctly? We've checked out this very similar hand to that one. Some numbers. No, I have not. I watched the majority of the videos on the Mastermind, or at least a good deal of them. I've never gotten around to watch the 10-week transformation. I keep hearing good things about it, and I will start watching it. Have you? And if so, what are your thoughts about it? In the meanwhile, what are your thoughts about this one here, everybody? Do we check? Do we bet 50%? Do we bet pot with the gutter? Oh, I have an idea. If I do remember correctly, then I have my answer locked in. A lot of checking going on. Doesn't seem unreasonable at all to check here. Seems good. Seeing that we have no pair from the board blocked. So I think we're going to see a mix between checking and maybe betting pot. So I'm going to go with the pot here myself. No. I remembered something was up with this spot, but it wasn't that it sometimes gets potted. It was that it gets 100% bet for half pot here. Some numbers squeezing in there with the right answer. Check out aces in general, aces without a set. There's a lot of checking going on. Very little pot size betting. Let's see. Ones with two backdoor flush draws. Here we have a pair. All right, we maybe want to... we don't have a 7. We don't have a pair from the board, right? We don't have a 7. We don't have an 8. Okay, now we bet pot even less frequently. And the ones we pot seem to have a flush draw, a backdoor flush draw, and a card around like a blocker, like a 5, a 6, a 9, a 10. In this case, a king jack. Oh, then now we have a pair of kings. Yeah, we need to take that out as well. No pairs of kings either. Gives us 1.7% that we block it. That's the ones with blockers. Backdoor, mostly backdoor flush draw. If we do have a backdoor flush draw, it's not a perfect one. Mostly it's either 3 of the same suit or not drawing to the nut flush draw. Seems to be the pattern here. So again, the very weakest ones, but the ones that have some blockers going on. Some blockers to draws, some blockers to, frankly, ranges that can repot us here. And that seems to be yeah, that is the entirety of that. Which ones are we betting? Again, a slightly weaker nut flush draw, but blockers. And the other side card, a really weak one. A wheel card, basically. So a blocker to the straight and a wheel card. Seems to be the pattern. Or a nut flush draw. A perfect nut flush draw and stuff like an open-ender or 2 very good blockers. Yep. 10-6 gets in there as well with 2 backdoor flush draws. Pretty strong hand. Blocking draws, having a gutter ourselves with the 10-6. Again, a 10-6, a jack-9. Same story. Have a gutter to the nuts. And a flush draw. All right, it seems to be... That was rather interesting, I felt. Let's do 2 more. Here. Except for the gutter. Maybe this is so weak that we do want to bet. Trying to take it down. And as such, I could even see this being a pot fold, maybe? I mean, the standard approach would be to check, right? We really hit nothing. We have a very weak hand, only drawing to one pair of nuts. Y9 rolling off. Start going with 50%. So yeah, betting it as a bluff makes a lot of sense. And then the question is, do we sometimes want to pot it as a bluff? And we might actually. I wouldn't be surprised if we see a complete mix here. I'm gonna go with the conservative one. What I would do mostly would be checking here. But that's actually not true. I would bet this at a fair clip. For exactly that reasoning, thinking, you know, really not drawing to anything. This is the weakest, some of the weaker hands I show up with in this spot. Might as well bet it. Let's go. I'm gonna change my mind. I'm gonna go with the bet. And it is 100% check here. There's no bluffing going on with this one. All right. Cool. That being said, if you mix this into a bluffing range, I don't think it's horrible. If you don't have enough bluffs for some reason. Ace Queen 10-10, Ace Queen Jack Jack. Sure can, sir. Much value in turning wrap. Yeah. Yeah, that's true. Like a 10 rolling off would be cool. Queen or Jack. Yeah, that's a good point. I didn't consider that. Yeah. I didn't consider that at all. So Ace Jack 10-10. That's a good point. Who said that? Legends Killer, yeah. I think that's, you got your finger right on the money there. So the Ace Jack 10-10 sometimes bets, but mostly checks, 95%. Once, damn, forgot to rewrite button. No worries. So the Ace Jack 10-10 or the Ace Jack Jack 10? No difference. Both of them 100%. Let's just go with 100% check. Ignore the 5% there, whatever. Do one last hand, then we'll find somebody to raid, and then I'll go on me dinner break. And see what we get. Maybe we get an interesting one. Not really. Guess we can do one more then. Although, you know, I have been surprised in the past. I'd actually bet this. There are really no good turns. Try to end it right away. And checking the much safer option. Just checking and essentially giving up unless a king and ace or a deuce turns. Who's fine? Legends Killer says, or Hukla says, yeah, I think so too. Want to bet this as the weakest part of our range. Yeah, it's a mixed strategy. Both is good. Deuce is terrible for betting. Yeah, it's not necessarily a value bet, I'd say. It's just trying to enter hand right here, right now. Also terrible for checking. Yeah, that's a good point. So solver very much a mixed strategy, favoring slightly the betting half pot here. Okay, then let's do one last hand. Yeah, the deuce is terrible for betting. That's true. But we have little ways of improving our hand here, except the obvious ace, king, or deuce rolling off, and the board's not gonna get better for us. Here's what I'm saying. So might as well try to end it right now with a weak hand. We can still continue to bet, like if a 3-4, if a 3-4 rolls off. Yeah, not that many hands we could bet on. A queen, maybe a jack, maybe not. That's about it. So might as well end it right now, right? Would be my reasoning. Last hand. And it's one that we've seen before. This one a little bit weaker than others that we've seen. We only have the 6-eye flush draw here. Does it change anything? And continue much less. Yeah, good point, Roland. It's tough to make two pair if you already have a pair in your hand. Going for the check here. Yeah, I'd agree from what we've seen so far. This hand is not the greatest. We're drawing to the low straights. Very few nut straights. Actually, only one nut straight, right? Only the 4 gives us the nuts. So seems to be a clear-cut check here. I'm gonna go with that option as well. Give me a moment to get your options in. Bolts. All right. Okay. So let's go with the check. And that's 100% correct. That is sweet. I am gonna go on my break. I think tomorrow, let me check my schedule, but I think tomorrow there's no study stream planned because of the home game later. That just kind of gets into the way of everything. Yeah, sorry, kind of spaced out there for a moment. I'll be back, what is it, in 1.5 hours, roughly 90 minutes from now, trying to play the $22 tournament on Party and some cash games. Maybe come across some spots that we've had in the study sessions. We did recently, so they are paying off sometimes. Right, I hope you had a good time. I'll be back with the study session on Saturday. Plenty of playing streams between then and today. And let's head over to the Poker Brass and see what he's up to. Usually has a fun stream and fun giveaways happening there as well. All right, let's do that. Cool. So I'll spend tomorrow afternoon diving into the bucket tool a little bit more, figuring out some stuff that will be useful for the streams. And, you know, try to come up with ways to improve these streams, to make them a little bit better. A little bit more educational. Up until then, hope you have a nice evening. If you want to check back in, I'll be back live in 90 minutes. See you soon. Thanks for tuning in.